Right. We're going early today because uh, make up
Because
for
it's
all those
Sunday,
other
Sunday,
times, right?
Sunday.
It's Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Don't miss it. Memphis Coliseum wrestling.
It's
Hello. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Absolutely. Hello. Hit that like button, please. As you pile
oh,
in
howdy,
here,
everyone.
pile on to the point of no return. No
Jump on
return.
board the Magic Bus.
I'm not coming back. I'm leaving now. Get collected. Oh, we have
Well,
had
all
one
right.
that short. I'm sure. I'm
Uh,
sure.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, we were discussing Godzilla a little bit. You're watching some Godzilla on Tubi. Uh,
Yeah. I just finished. One I hadn't seen. It was Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, giant monster battle or something. It was called. And then now it just started with
I'm
Godzilla versus Destroyer.
I'm surprised. Paranoia, big destroyer. I'm surprised you you have any Godzilla movies that you haven't seen.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, well, I didn't watch TV for God 10 years or so. You know, I mean, we didn't
You
have
haven't
cable
watched
or nothing.
TV in about 10 years. What?
Well, now that we moved in the house over here, when we were at my old apartment, we went without cable or anything for quite a while. We were just
Right.
living on DVDs and stuff like that.
I know this is shocking, but
Yeah,
I've never.
for a little
I
while.
don't think I've ever had cable. Uh, I really don't. It's like, I can live without it. I'm not paying cable fees and all that for
Right.
years. I mean,
Well, the cool thing, like with these streaming things now, like Tubi and whatever, as long as you got Wi-Fi at the house, you can just hook up your little Fire Stick to your TV, and you can get on all these free
oh
streaming
yeah,
services.
yeah. You've told me about that before.
Hmm.
I know. When I lived in Truman a couple years, and that's been the only time I haven't lived here in town. Well, I take that back. I was lived for a year and a half in Paragould. Well, basically, I mean, I had an apartment here, residence here, but I
Uh-huh.
spent most of the time, months and months on end, and eventually started going home a little bit. But uh, yeah, I stayed there at the mission, rescue mission. Basically, lived there for about a year and a half.
Oh, well.
You know, I mean, on site, you've got to be, but it's like living at work.
Right. Yeah, that's got
And
to be
unless
kind
you're
of.
working for yourself, and I wouldn't even call that a good time. You need to
Mm.
work. You need to live apart from your job. You need a break.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Just
finally had
to.
a discussion with the person over the whole mission. My boss, and of course she had bosses, right? A board of directors and all that too.
Oh,
But
sure.
but the director, she was like, we had a discussion about going home. More, whatever. And I started going home more, and but there for a good year at least, if not over that. That was toward the end after I left that. I mean, close to when I left that place.
So they just have an
But
extra
things will
room like
bring,
put aside for you, or
huh?
they have an extra room put aside for you or something. I mean, you just
Yeah, I had a room up there. Yeah.
damn. Yeah, that's got to get old after a while, man. You wake up and you're at work, go to bed, you're at work.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's great if it's iced and snow and you don't have to drive. And of course, I didn't make a lot, so that was probably worked best for me. I mean, it's like a 45-minute drive, and
Oh wow.
burn
Yeah,
that gas going and coming.
yeah, probably saved you a good amount.
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
OPVR
yeah.
speaking
Hey, PBR. Uh,
first.
First in. Yeah, I guess I need to highlight it, right? He always shows the same thing, which just looks like rectangles here, but over there it's like waving hands
Yeah, yeah,
on YouTube. It's wild that you can't see the emojis in StreamYard, but you can see them, of course, on YouTube.
yeah. I know. I don't know why
Do
But they don't
better,
show up
Serena.
on
Do better.
Senior.
And
Yeah.
charge less. I know Jason
Yeah,
Bascom.
start with that.
I know Jason Bascom and maybe Luke too are going to do the free thing, and they're going to limit. And hopefully, I'll make the cut. I don't know. You know, 6 people is what you can have,
Right. Yeah, on the free
which is the
program.
free, and maybe they stream enough, less enough to do 20 hours or less than 20 hours.
Yeah,
Uh,
probably.
I don't know, Luke. I mean, I know Luke. Does his
Yeah,
what are
I
you
know.
reading type thing, and I know
Hmm.
Jason does additional streams. But
Yeah, he
it,
does draw streams and stuff like
mhm.
that. So
This month I just didn't want to. I didn't want to mess with it. I just had the money and from that Atlanta money or whatever, and I just said, I'm
right.
putting aside
Hey, oh,
$46
hell, they were 64.80. Good to see
That's
how
how
they.
much it is per month, $46. Hell, I don't even
Excellent.
pay that on my phone. That's crazy to me.
Yeah,
And they upped it from what
it
was
was
it?
what, like 19.99 or something like that
No, it
before.
was not,
Like
never
20.
that cheap with me. No,
Oh, okay. I thought it was right around $20. And they like almost,
20, 25 maybe.
so they nearly doubled it.
I don't know. They did double it. Maybe it was. I can't remember. I just know. I mean, I paid for like September when I got to looking at it and went on free, and then went with restream some. You couldn't get on
Uh,
those with your phone, and uh, eventually, I think I paid like maybe 2 months this year already, maybe 3, but
Ahoy, Apex
2 months.
Comics and Terry in the house. Oi, oi, Sabaloy, Carrie.
Uh, Today's comic book recommendation of the day, PBR says "Signal from Space" by Will Eisner. Eisner.
I think it's Eisner.
People get hung up on semantics. Fine. While you do that, I'm going to be thinking up cool creations, concepts, things like that. People get stuck on the very smallest things, Shadowhawk, and they just obsess about it, and they spend their time thinking about it. And it's like, I want to clear my mind of any of that clutter, as long as you know what I mean. And I know, and I've studied languages, okay, especially Hebrew,
Hmm.
and uh, go take someone from Massachusetts or however you want to say that, or New York, and we're all going to say the same word a little differently, you know, certain
Oh yeah,
words,
yeah. Even just state to state. Even a neighboring state.
Eisner. Thank you, Apex. Eisner. Esner. Eisner. What does it matter? But
Right.
you can hang up on that for decades for sure, you know.
Hey, Homer.
Galaxy Marmar Park, fully funded, keep backing and sharing people. Absolutely, Gary. Glad to hear that they're fully funded at $700. I did back that book, Omer Gleich. See, I say Omer. Most people say Omer. I know Jason and maybe Luke was trying to say Omer, or
Yeah.
however you want to say it. I mean, if somebody said, "Look, my name is," now, a lot of people, I don't know, with my last name Christian, they want to say Christian son. I think Omer did that for a while. And I was like, my name is not Christianson, it's Christian. There's a difference. Now,
Right.
that's different. It does not say that. But
You like Hans Christian
people could
Andersen?
say that with, if I said Eisner, Esner, Esner, it's not Esner. Or Bishima. I mean, there's different ways you can
Mm.
interpret that. And yes, it's one or the other, but you get what I mean. And I don't get hung up on that. But a lot of
And
people call me out on it and go,
I've
that's not
heard him
what
called
I meant. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
Buscema, Buscema. I mean, I've
Uh,
heard that a bunch of different ways.
and some things you need to hear, right? It's like, show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. I mean, there's 3 different ways I said the same thing.
Hey, Raul and T in the
The
chat. Good to
emphasis.
see
Hey,
you.
Ro. True. Slightly differently is one thing, but you say it wrong entirely. Homer says it's not just enunciation wrong; it's different word. Gay man, gar man,
Gay man
and you know
instead of
what I
dog.
say? I said that on the phone the other day. I said a gay man, so it gets in my head. In my head, you know, gets in my head. Do you pronounce eyes as I easy? I don't know. Eyes.
As
You want to call me out on every word, it's like you get on here and it's like, at least for me, people want to
we're gonna
call me
pick
out
you
on every
apart.
other word. And it's like, I want to be Eric and Boyd and not even speak. And let's see how entertaining that is.
Eric's been doing some live streams over on his channel,
Yeah,
doing
he's
some
been
interviews
leveling
and stuff.
up and doing some live
Mhm.
streams. Absolutely. Yeah. In the last, 3 weeks to a month, he's,
Yeah,
and
he's
it's good
been
to see
putting
people
out some content there, man. He had a good interview the other day.
actually. Absolutely. Yeah.
Neil Gaiman. Skyman.
I don't think I'll ever forget. Let's go, Brandon. You know, uh, Mister. Lie about my lie. Just lie, a perpetual liar. Anyway,
Yeah,
I don't think I'll ever forget his words of, the thing.
yeah. You know, the thing, man.
He was backing up. He knew he was in trouble when he said, "In God we trust," or whatever. He was talking about, because he knows the left doesn't want to hear about God. You want to
Yeah.
shut a conversation down with most people, no matter where they're at, on the right, left, or middle, or out there. Just start talking about God. And then it's like, yeah, that's a stopgap. People can't discuss anything, quote, religious,
Hey,
anymore.
LT, what's happening, buddy?
Hey, Els,
Has
um,
anyone read Signal from Outer Space? I have not, PBR. I'm
I
gonna have to
have
look
not.
that up.
Man, comics, like I say, you could study that. You could study I'm surprised colleges really don't have a show on. I mean, a semester or something for accreditation. I put it under literature or whatever, but just on comicology. I would love to teach one on comicology.
Close the door.
I got mute for a sec.
The door.
Probably laziness. Omer Glitz says definitely dyslexia or laziness. Remember, in the beginning, there was the word. So words are important, right? Yes, they are important. Get hung up on everything I say. That's fine. That's your privilege. I'm going to say it the way I say it, and probably not read those chats because I don't need the bother. Spoken like a true teacher, Omer. Just like a true teacher. Comics don't matter to regular people. Regular people. I be normal. I be Abby normal. What the hell? We talk about class in this country all the time. I thought we fought a revolutionary war to get away from the class system, and somehow we haven't done it. We have upper, middle, and lower class, and now they're trying to roll it in to the haves and have-nots, which a lot of people have been trying to do in this country for a very long time. But yeah,
Oh,
what's
yeah.
a regular person? Be godly, Rex. Exactly. Be ye perfect as I am perfect. You have to work on your perfection. But the thing of it is, Shadowhawk, you clean your backyard, I'll clean my backyard. Omer cleans his, Walter cleans his, and we work on ourselves. Kind of like I say, the number one enemy you have is the person you look at in the mirror. Work on yourself. And
Yeah.
I can't help it
Yeah,
if you think I'm lacking in some way. I'm
start
only
from scratch.
human. Regular people that attend college, university for a comic class to matter.
I've heard
Again, with
there
a
are some
regular person,
colleges
what
that
is a regular
offer.
person, Homer? Can you, I mean, let's, if words mean something, let's define what you're saying. At least he didn't say normal person. I what did Doc Holliday say at the end of Tombstone
Oh
as he's
God.
dying? You know, um, there's there's he's talking about life and
Hmm.
living, and oh, you're definitely lack, aren't we? Oh, yeah. Homer's potentially got his funny button turned on all the time. I
That's
guess
right.
I probably had that and had it for most of my life, but as you get older, it's like you kind of get that under control, because I mean, there's some serious issues in life, right, that we have to deal with.
Sometimes I try not to have to do it
Yeah.
on the internet.
Regular
Yeah.
person, general population, the average person, status quo, not necessarily the status quo, but just
Quid pro quo.
peon, somebody you'd want to put in your Chevrolet and throw across country. Is that what you're
Oh,
talking about? Maybe I need to send him a link so he can tell me what a regular person is, because I'm sure we're all on pins and needles to find out further what that is. He might have a good definition of it, but the more I see of the world and go out and about, there is no normal. There's a lot of chaos going on nowadays. There's a lot of chaos that a lot of people put out of their minds and hearts, the underbelly within this country and outside of this country. And I've not been
Mm,
outside, but people are people. I mean, people are, people all around the world, you know.
yeah. Yeah.
We have a lot of. It's kind of like religion, like we were talking about earlier. It's if you went to Catholics, Lutherans, Episcopalians, Protestants, uh, Church of Christ, Baptist,
Mm,
um, Pentecostal, whatever. If you went to all those denominations, and there's more of them than what I mentioned.
oh yeah. There's a lot
Um,
more.
I just mentioned. I mean, within the Baptist ranks, I know there's missionary Baptists, there's Southern Baptists, there's all kinds of. But
Hmm.
if you looked at the major tenets of what people believe uh, in Christianity, and let's just take that as an example, because there's a multitude of religions, but
Right.
if that's what you want to call it, I think Christianity stands out from all the others because but that's my opinion. It doesn't have to be yours. Uh, if you look at that, they still believe in the major tenets of you know Jesus was born of a virgin, he was sinless, he was the son of God, the major tenets, of the
Right.
Bible. Uh,
Christianity.
but when we get divided is church doctrine, church teaching. How do you interpret what you see there? Uh,
Right.
but those are not quote salvation issues in the Christian. Most of the Catholic, the more liturgical, more legalistic, I would say. Uh, uh, anyway, you know, uh, but you look across the big spectrum, we would still believe the major things, you know, that are really important that God wants you to get the most out of. Anyway, a little discussion about religion on Sunday. That's not bad. I guess you're right. It's just a funny book. Yeah, I mean, comics aren't everything. Let's see, regular people. Oh, you're definitely lack. Let's see, where do you call it a funny book? Well, I mean that's what my
um,
grandmother used to call them, funny books.
yeah, back in the day.
Hmm. We all have to deal with the 4 o'clock shadow daily because we like you a bit. Laugh out loud.
Oh, we like you a bit too, Homer.
The world
Yeah.
is not chaos. Things are great. I have a house, plumbing, food, water, AC technology, comics. I'm blessed by the grace of God. The world is beautiful and in order. Well,
Yeah.
Most people shoot scriptures like bullets. Elsie says, pew, pew, pew. Okay, Glenn. He, I could just sit here and refute what he's saying, but I'm not going to. If it's working for you, great. But you're in the top 1 percentile. Most of people in America are. Even I was thinking about that the other day as I was driving around Pocahontas, which is mostly a suppressed poor area.
Yeah.
With I mean, yeah, but even they have running water. I was thinking on the same subject but different. In Gunsmoke, you never see an outhouse.
No,
I don't think I've seen one episode that shows an
never
outhouse.
really, never really thought about it, but yeah, I don't
Not
think I've
many
ever.
westerns really show outhouses, and yet
I've
that was.
seen him in a couple.
I have too. I mean, some people killed in outhouses, or you
Hmm.
know, I mean, but now a lot of those are foreign made as well. The spaghetti westerns. Uh,
I think.
I mean, I'm just saying you don't see it in a lot of episodes, and I've
Yeah,
watched a lot of westerns recently.
I think
And I
Young
can't
Guns.
think of one
They had
time,
a scene where they caught the guy in the outhouse.
and it may be just it might just be the early stuff, like I've been in the 50s, and now I'm on somewhere about
Wow.
midway on season 8, which has Burt Reynolds. He did like one or two seasons, one season maybe. Festus is getting ready to come on. Chester just kind of faded out.
Right.
But he did several seasons with James Arness. But anyway, I have traveled the same world, and yes, he has traveled overseas. Um,
Nice.
and it's not in chaos either. It's beautiful. Maybe it's perspective. Yeah, well, I think you need to look at it that way, but there is a lot of chaos out there. You've got to admit, it is chaotic. Let me
Well, I mean,
let me
luckily
get
not
you out of
for
bed,
most. For
sleepyhead, and
most.
then automatically God just puts you in traffic in Atlanta, Georgia, and tell me if there's not chaos. People live that way. My God. Maybe it's just I like a slower pace in life. I
Yeah.
guess maybe compared to some metropolitan areas. And I've been to New York. I've been up to Flint, Michigan. I've been up to Chicago, uh, down in Florida, California. Uh, I've traveled some. About the only place I haven't tried is like around Oregon, Washington, Alaska. Uh, Northwest of the country. Not sure. I mean, right up on the Canadian border in Michigan is the highest I've been, and the lowest I've been is down in Texas. Deep in the heart of Texas. Um,
Yes, sir.
it's not all bad depending on where you go. Yeah, I get that. I'm not. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, not everything is
Watch
terrible.
the news. Watch the current political, and I don't. Not. I don't have any inward streaming TV. I cut that stuff out of my life. Uh, I live in one of the poorest areas in the US, and I grew up with an outhouse, just for your information. Both my grandparents' houses had outhouses and given
Yeah.
to fear mongering. Okay, give, words mean something. Give to fear mongering. It wouldn't be given to fear mongering. Well, whatever. I did too grow up in Peach or Peach. Is that really how you spell it? I cut the
Right.
cable. Yeah, I mean,
Peach
no, I'm
orchard,
not giving
man.
the fear mongering. You're meant, Homer. You're just whatever, whatever. It's not worth discussing anymore. I mean, if everything's rainbows and unicorns, and and I'm not trying to be a downer here. I'm one of the most optimistic people you would see, but to deny that there's chaos and murder and blah blah blah, I mean, every day the underbelly is not to be. We need a course correction in this country, as in most countries, right? But yes, we have it good, and I live around
Yeah,
some poor areas too, and I grew up around some poor areas too. We would take um, Christmas gifts to people that lived on an old concrete floor. It might as well have been dirt floor. That they didn't have running water. They had a bucket and a scoop to drink out of. They had an outhouse. They got
yeah.
well water. They asked my father for if they could get well water from our well so that they would have water to drink. Sharecropping places, uh,
Right.
couches that had springs that you could see and stuffing out of it. That was what they set on. I'm just messing with you, Rick. I know you like to just argue for argument's sake, I guess. I don't know. It's a waste of my breath. It's a waste of my time, unless you're really serious about it. I had powdered milk and picked out the garden for supper. Yeah, we had a lot of powdered milk at the rescue mission that I worked at. You know,
I don't know if I've ever had powdered milk. I think I have.
it's not that great, but it'll do in a
Mm.
pinch, and you can cook with it.
Ah, there you go.
Sometimes I feel like we would be better off if we went to those pioneer days where we didn't go to a grocery store, but we had to physically go out and kill that squirrel like you're talking about, or kill that possum, or kill that fox, or something
Yeah.
to eat, so you didn't starve.
People were a lot healthier then.
Yeah,
A lot less
and
weird diseases.
yeah,
Autism was rarely heard of.
oh yeah, yeah,
A lot of things
a lot of
changed.
the dementia, Alzheimer's, uh,
Mhm.
all that is probably chemically based. That's why I'm glad that they're looking into the food situation. I did hear
Yeah,
on
I
the
don't think.
radio one place was going to do away with voluntarily being proactive in dropping something out of their product. So that's a good thing. I think some of these corporations are going, well, they see the tide changing and they're like, well, we can either do it voluntarily or we might get some big PR, negative PR,
Right.
uh, and they don't want to deal with that. So I'm glad to see some of them uh, do that. One of my grandparents' houses, says Homer, had a well for water. Yeah, some of the well water is some of the best you could drink, but today we would go, "Ooh, that's unfiltered and there's no chlorine in it." Ooh, you know, uh, and if you look at most water under a microscope, you're going to see little wiggly things. You know, there's stuff in there in that water um, that you ingest in your body for water for like 15 years until the uh, county no longer allowed it because the water company finally dropped lines in the area.
Wow.
See you, Elsie. Elsie.
Well, have a good night, buddy.
So what have you been up to today? Uh, spent a lot.
Power washing the deck, helping the wife in the backyard. Just little, household things. We ended running out this morning and having to buy a new pressure washer because we went to use the one I bought last year, and for whatever reason, it don't want to start up, and I didn't feel like pulling it apart. And they happen to have one a little bit smaller one on sale. So took a trip, went and got that, come home, cleaned the deck, and finished up probably about maybe an hour before the show started. Sat down and watched me some Godzilla.
Mm-hmm. Chillaxing on the weekend.
Yeah, and trying to get this damn metal splinter out of my finger that's been lodged in my fingertip since Friday.
Even after you retire, you'll probably have some of that come to the surface or bother you. Kind of like I still have cactus thorns, at least in
Really?
my right hand, maybe in both, and every now and then you'll go, ooh, yeah, that's probably an old cactus thorn from
That's
years
crazy.
ago. It's amazing how those little
Yeah, well, I'm around little
miniatures.
sharp bits of metal, all
Hmm.
day, everything I touch.
I've been around that. Yeah, you get around a
Potentially
grinder,
dangerous. Mm-hmm.
yeah, something that has that metal. That metal definitely, get
And them
in.
little, you don't even feel them little tiny bits, when they go in your skin until
No,
later.
I mean it's almost like moon particles. Moon
Mm-hmm.
surfaces.
Crazy.
I mean, it's basically pulverized glass stuff.
Almost, yeah. I mean, but because we have a lot of, they do braided wire, so like these reinforced cable things and shit.
Hmm. Yeah,
And so
it,
we've got these giant, basically weaving machines, that weave wire together. And
hmm
when they're setting up and tearing it down and all that stuff, they just snip the fucking wire out of the thing to change out for a new roll and whatever. So there's
right.
just, billions of little tiny sharp pieces of wire all over that plant, you know. So
Yeah,
no
yeah.
telling
Well,
what you're gonna
when
touch.
when I worked at World Color, they had big rows of wire for the staples
Hmm.
that would go in the books. It's on a big spool, and that's what it was. And then it snips it off and
Yeah, they
staples
just
the book. Yeah,
mold it into it. Yeah,
mhm.
but yeah, it's pretty wild stuff, man. But yeah, I get like I said, I
And
didn't even know
on the
until the
bound
next day.
on the bound books, we had a big heating vat that you put the glue chips in.
Ooh, cool.
You don't want to get that on you because it's like napalm.
Yeah, I
It's
imagine. Yeah,
sticks to you. It's glue. Hot glue,
yeah,
molten glue.
it's gonna suck.
There was one episode where they don't show it, but they bring him into town into Dodge, and his face has been put in hot lead. The guy was
Ooh,
so mean and so that he basically killed that guy.
well, yeah. I mean,
Severe burns to his face and other areas, because
yeah, and
I
probably
had
cause
about he had his
severe
face put in
shock.
like 50 pounds of molten lead. Um,
Ooh,
and molten lead uh,
it's gonna be
was
hot.
used back then to make bullets, right?
Hmm.
That's so it makes sense that they didn't come up with something.
Yeah, you can still get lead ammo.
Mhm. Starting to get a little bit of reverb, if you don't mind popping
Yep.
out,
Be right back.
come back in. So anyway, I just today I've done a little cleaning. I've got early in the morning because I was up till dawn at least, and then I slept for about 6 hours, and uh, had to make room for all those gun smoke. I thought, well, I have a that I got from my mother, a pie safe, an old pie safe, uh, and it looks really nice. She had it restored, which it's not original condition because she's had it restored very nicely, um, which lessens the value of it. But yeah, it looks like a new piece of furniture. It's got a flour sieve in it, uh, and I told her that was the only thing that I wanted out of her house, and my brother wanted it too, uh, but it was promised to me. He got couple things that were nice too. He got his, but you can't get everything, bro. Um, I thought, well, that's a practical thing. If I needed to, I could, you know, use that as a like a baking type thing because it has a pull out enamel drawer, wood metal drawer that you can pull out as like a table area to work on. You know, rolling pin, and make your biscuits or cookies, whatever you want to call them, that you people in the UK. Uh, you know, with a flour sieve in there and everything, place to store your pies. Anyway, it's works out perfect for DVDs, kind of like most long box uh, comics. They work out perfectly for DVDs. Um, Not any extra space, not too tight. You can fit like I think I fit about 32 DVDs and regular DVDs. Or Blu-rays. Blu-ray cases may be a little bit different, but that's what I used all my old for most of my old comic book long boxes for. Once I went to short boxes, I put DVDs in there, and it'll hold a little over 32, I think, in there. And the same case with the Pie Safe, I cleaned off the top tier and I had DVDs up there already and dusted it off and put all the Gunsmoke in there. And it didn't quite take up the whole thing. So I put like Steve McQueen, and he did a few Westerns and stuff, his stuff next to that, along with a few others, you know, and filled that top tier up. And had to move a few things like some comic boxes and stuff, but that needed to be done. And that's what I was kind of working on. That I could listen to it, you know, and kind of watch Gunsmoke as I did that. Uh, it's nice to get organized and see that you've accomplished something, you know. Be doing a lot of cleaning, uh, trying to do more cleaning and organizing in the next month or so. Hopefully, we're going to get so busy at work I won't even feel like doing it. But I'm trying to, and I probably should be working outside because it's been nice outside this weekend. Uh, and I've done a little bit of yard work, basically picking up things, and even went over to Terry's place uh, and picked up some big branches that have fallen down in the front yard. Don't know when Andy's coming back. I'm collecting his mail. I've got a big stack because Terry used to get a lot of mail, checking the front stoop every day or so because he's had some packages. Had one package so far dropped off at the door, and I don't want anybody to come by and steal it. That is a thing with some people. Welcome back, Shadowhawk. So Andy Reno, whose mother died recently around Mother's Day or on Mother's Day. I can't remember.
Sorry about that.
Around his birthday. He hasn't come back from his other residence yet, and I'm still collecting his mail. And it's piling up. He didn't ask me to do that, but his mother would ask me when she was gone. And
Right.
That mailbox won't hold it all. If I tried to put it all back in there, I couldn't get it, even if I took my time doing it neatly. Now, a lot of it is just trash, and I'm not picking through that and throwing it away. You know, he
Right.
can do that. I might before he gets back, and I don't know when that'll be. Organize it, you know, and what I think is important and what I think is just advertising garbage, you know, that they drop off.
Right.
Maybe it's hard for him to come back. I mean, he's really not got a reason to come back. To a certain degree, you know,
Right.
his job is over there, his other place is over there, probably his friends are over there, and probably coming back. They had to get rid of Benjamin, adopt him out, the dog that she had, because he was unable to keep him, you know. So that's kind of
That's a
sad.
shame. Yeah.
But that little dog, I tell you what, that little dachshund, he'd come up and grab my pants like he was some big dog, you know. You had to
Yeah.
watch out for him because he'd bite you, he'd nip you, you know.
Yeah. A little booger.
Yeah, I know. And he's your neighbor's dog. You don't want to punt. Wee. You know, you don't want to punt the dog. Come on.
From the 50-yard line. It's
You
good.
might feel like it, you know. I don't like feel like, you know, something attacks me.
Yeah. Yeah, and surprisingly, those little dogs, they can hurt when they bite. They might be small, but they still got sharp teeth.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a
I
breed
know my
that's
little
supposed to be
chihuahua could fucking put a whacking on you.
Chihuahua. Uh, I'm thinking about something, but I'm not going to say it. Chihuahua. Um, yeah, that's kind of one of those digging breeds, small digging breeds, aren't they? Uh, and I think he had to be a mix actually, because he had like hairy ears, not your standard looking dachshund, little weenie dog. They can get feisty, and definitely he was more hyper than Abby. Of course, Abby's older, but even when she was younger, I mean, very
Yeah.
very young and stupid and just burning energy and nothing but a bundle of energy. Yeah, maybe just as hyper as Benjamin is, but uh, yeah, that little dog, he could be irritating and you know, if he heard something outside, you know,
Yeah.
or he sees you walking through the window, you know,
Yeah, our neighbor got a little dust mop dog, one of those, like a
uh,
Shih Tzu or
hardly
something.
anybody comes over here, so you know, Abby doesn't have the opportunity. I have noticed that she's losing her bark. She can't
Yeah.
bark as loudly, you know, as she did. Sometimes it's pretty pathetic.
Wow.
You know, you know,
Wow.
she can bark when she wants to, but
Yeah.
she can bark if she wants to. She can leave your friends behind. I can dance. I can dance.
Well,
MTV. Too
that's
much
an
video.
opinion.
Hmm?
That's one opinion.
I watched a lot of MTV in the 80s, you know.
Yeah, I didn't, surprisingly.
You didn't? Well, yeah. Well,
No,
you were, you know, family
I,
nader.
I was busy.
The name is Horace. My name is Horace. You just killed Gilman. Damn it. It's one of my favorites. If you haven't seen Monster Squad of the 80s, you need to watch it.
Yeah.
Bogus. Bogus.
Wolf's
Smack.
got nuts.
Yeah. Wolfman's got nards. Yeah. I mean, a great redesign on the characters, on the
Yeah, it was a good
Universal
looking movie.
monster characters.
It was
Yeah.
actually a little more adult themed than I remembered it. I thought it was little more kid oriented, but it's
But now they
a little
brought in
spicy.
they had kids like Goonies, and I mean in the 80s they kind of put the kid factor in those horror like fun movies like Fright Night and things like that. They
Hmm.
put kids
Yeah.
in there. So it's like the comics that Elsie was showing, a lot of those Tales of Unexpected and with Nick
Oh,
Cardy
dude.
covers, they always had kids, a boy and a girl on the cover.
Yeah, scared
Oh,
kids were a big theme.
well, I mean, it's amazing how even in the 70s, they knew who their readership was, kids primarily.
Hmm.
It really, it really became more of adult with like Dark Knight in the early 80s, you know,
The
the direct
Daredevil.
market.
Yeah.
And I thought at the time that's cool because my hobby is growing with me. It's not the same thing that appealed in the same way that it appealed to me as a kid. You know, now as a young adult, I
Right.
felt like the hobby was kind of moving with me and leveling up, with these more adult themed
Yeah,
stories.
and they're also kind of, like with Spider-Man, they expanded things. They went dark with Web of Spider-Man, and that, they kept Peter Parker as, the classic stuff. Um, for a
See,
while there, it was
PBR,
okay until they got too carried away with, just so many fucking titles you couldn't keep up.
some of the most adult stuff that was written and done artistically was that epic run of about, I think it's 11 issues, 11 or 12 issues, something like that. Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams on Green Lantern. You dealt with drug use. There's a cover
Oh
where
yeah, yeah.
the guy's crucified on the
Hmm.
cover, or he's hanging, like Mob. They dealt with some heavy issues, social issues
They
within the
got pretty wacky with Green Lantern and Green Arrow there for a while, man. It was like,
comic.
really. I think I don't know if the writers like had an issue with each other or what, but it's like they were having a constant uh, conversation between themselves almost.
Mm-hmm.
It
That
was some
could
good
be.
stuff, you know.
Yeah, I mean, comics have dealt always. I mean, in ways, dealt with other issues. There's the drug issue with
Yeah.
Spider-Man that
Well, look
didn't
at
get a code, the
Iron
authority
Man
code
when
on it.
he was drinking too much.
Oh yeah, yeah, demon in a bottle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
famous one.
they had a year lead up at least on that where he's drinking more and drinking more. I need a drink. I need
Hmm.
a drink or whatever. He was not sober. They depicted Tony Stark as unraveling and not dealing
Yeah,
with things
and
very well.
they didn't just like offhandedly just, oh, we're gonna throw this at you to show you we care about
Yeah,
something.
they had a
They
build up.
yeah
Exactly. I mean,
they
just like in
developed
the
the
X-Men,
story.
when they killed Jean when they killed Jean Grey, when they killed the Phoenix, um, that had been coming for a very long time. I mean,
Oh yeah,
they had
I was still
uh,
heartbroken.
oh, I did too. Been the only comic that I've cried after I
Yeah,
read it,
yeah.
you
The
know.
X-Men have done that to me a couple times.
And basically she committed suicide. Well, I mean the
Yeah.
Phoenix. And which kind of makes sense that okay, I can kill this shell, but the Phoenix is going to rise again, right? Because it turned out. And should Jean
Right. It's
Grey
like
have remained dead, or should she remain? They kind of retroactively said she's in this cocoon underwater for years, right?
right, right.
That when the Phoenix
So
came out of the water, it wasn't really Jean Grey. And I don't know if they always had that planned. I doubt it.
yeah, I don't know. It seems like they kind of came up with that.
But
And,
one of the characters that remained gone the longest after they quote killed him off, Barry Allen Flash.
oh yeah, he was gone for a long time.
20 years probably
Hmm.
out of comics.
I think Ethan and Jeff Johns brought him back.
Mike Barron had that run with the new Flash, with
Hmm.
Wally West. That was a good read.
Oh, dude. Speaking of Mike, while I was rebooting and getting ready to come back on, I happened to run across an email. I got a package the other day in the mail, and I was like, I know it has to be a mistake because I opened it up and it's got four
Oh,
copies
four
of
copies retailer bundle. Yeah.
yeah. So I emailed Mike and I hadn't heard nothing back, and I just noticed the email when I popped off to reboot, so I shot him back an
Well,
answer real quick.
okay.
Gonna send him back three of them, and we'll be all good.
I mean, you're assuming you didn't buy a retail bundle.
No, I'm pretty sure I didn't, and he would have double checked on his end to make sure what I bought. I'm sure.
He
Uh,
did?
I would imagine Mike did. I don't think he's gonna try and rip me off
I'm
if I
just
say,
saying, was there confirmation that yes, we sent you too much?
yeah. I think
That
it was Mike's wife actually, or maybe his daughter. I don't know
that
who
said
handled.
yes, we sent you too many,
Said,
the wrong
said,
thing.
yeah, sorry, you got the wrong,
Oh, okay.
like
Okay.
labels got mixed up on the boxes or something. if you
Oh,
could just send us back 3 of them, and she gave me the address and everything. I was like, yeah, no problem.
yeah. And knowing Mike, so I guess his daughter's part in the fulfillment.
I don't know if it was his wife, his daughter, or what it said, and
Oh,
uh, uh, Baron. So I was just like, okay, well, thanks for getting back to me, and I'll get that out in the mail to you as soon as possible. And, I didn't want to
okay. And you
take
know what?
advantage of Mike.
You'll probably get another package from them. A thank you with something, just
Well, who
because you're
knows, man?
so honest about it.
Maybe.
Don't look for it, but if they do, that's great.
No, that's, I mean, if I, I could have just said fucking nothing.
Oh
So,
yeah, I know.
but I didn't want to do that.
Well, I mean, it's better to do the right thing. It messes with your karma, messes with your
Yeah,
spirit. You know what I'm saying?
exactly,
It
dude.
it always pays to be honest. Might have to do a story about that, but you're going to get disagreement from people on that.
Oh, for sure.
I'd rather
And
die an optimist. I would, that's what made the debate a while ago with Omer a little bit because I'm mainly an optimist. You know,
right.
I always try and look on the sunnier side, but I also see a lot of the chaos and evil that's in the world too, and to deny that is just crazy to me. Because you see it every day,
Later, PBR.
and I'm not one to slip myself a pill and not be realistic about things. I know the evil that we're battling, and I know good is going to win out in the end, but things the way I read scripture, things are going to get worse and worse and worse. Now, will the cheese slide off the cracker in our lifetime? I think it started this, slide a little bit, and it's gotten we've ramped up. Things are coming down the pike faster and faster at you, and you need to adapt, so that you can counter the attack. You know, one thing that I've learned about Satan is he will not just come after your finances, he'll come after your loved ones, your finances. He'll hit you from three different directions. You know, he says, well, it looks like I'm going to go for a gut shot, and then you catch one on the chin. I've seen it
Yeah.
happen. I've seen my former church had like three simultaneously big attacks on it. You know,
Wow.
uh, the devil does not just attack you from, oh, I see the dust cloud coming over the hill. They're coming from that direction. No, you better look around, and he'll preoccupy you. That's the way the enemy works. He'll preoccupy you with this one thing, and you're kind of focused on that, and then you miss this coming your way or that coming your way. You know, you have to be vigilant. You know, watch and pray. That's what Christ's instruction was to all of us. Watch and pray, because the days are evil, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, but yeah, should you lose that optimism and your hope? No. Rejoice, for your salvation draws nigh. It's getting closer and closer. As evil's getting closer and closer and ramping things up here, Christ is there for you. That would make it great. I'm going to write that down. I might put that on a t-shirt. Christ is there for you.
Well, that's what the good book tells us.
Yeah. Yeah, make a good book title too.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah. I've got I worked at a Christian bookstore for 6 years, so
Yeah, that's
I've
right.
got a lot of Bibles, and I've got a lot of religious books, probably enough to open up a store initially.
Got your own
A
little secondhand shop.
pessimistic optimist. Yeah,
There
I
you
mean, you could, we're to be discerning people. We do it every day in little ways, right?
go.
Should
I
I
don't
get
know.
that?
Hope
Should I
for the
get that
best every day
Snickers or should
and
I get
deal with
that?
whatever happens.
Well, I try not to look at it that way. It's just we make decisions every day. Should I get the healthy granola bar or should I get the Snickers? You know, um, sometimes you want to indulge, sometimes you
Yeah.
don't. Sometimes you feel like it, sometimes you don't.
Sometimes you don't.
Enjoy. I prefer Mounds,
Yeah, I
uh,
prefer the mounds
simply
too.
because it has dark
The
chocolate,
dark
and dark
chocolate.
chocolate, a good little dark Hershey square of dark chocolate every day reduces your chance of heart issues, heart attack by 50%. Why wouldn't
Yeah,
you
it's
just take that
some,
like medicine?
some kind of phenol something or another's in there that is really good
Hmm.
for
Yeah, really good for you.
you.
Yeah. And white chocolate doesn't have it, milk chocolate doesn't have it. And I know those are delicious to
Nope.
some people, but and they are to me too. I mean, when you self
I
gratify on
actually like
sugar
the
like
dark
that, you're
chocolate.
gonna get in your brain a dopamine rush, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Down, yeah.
But that
Everything to
if you
you
do that all
intake
the
affects
time,
you
there's a
somehow.
dependency. You know,
Mm-hmm.
your body adjusts to dependency. You know, we need to weed a lot of that out, and you will have all the energy in the world. I Let me tell you, man, at nearly 60, I have more energy than I did in my mid 40s.
Yeah, yeah. I can tell the tape.
But now that doesn't
I'm
mean I
happy
don't.
for you.
I couldn't have. Elsie, Shadowhawk, I couldn't have done that job down in Atlanta. You couldn't have done it, Shadowhawk, with your knees. There's no way you
Oh
could have done
no,
it.
I'm
You
sure
would
I
have had
can.
to done it at your own pace, but you wouldn't have had good. You wouldn't have had a big count,
No,
you
I
know,
would no.
on what we were doing.
I can't move that fast at the moment. That's just the
Yeah,
way it is. You
I
know.
was surprised at the age of some of the guys that was there. Actually, we had a. I think
Dude,
he
I've
was
had
70.
two
I think he
knee
was
surgeries
73
too in
years
the
old.
past.
That Marine that gave me that Garmin. Ha! Didn't say Gaiman. Garmin.
There you go. You didn't say it that
Um,
time.
yeah. Uh, but the Gar. Oh man, I'm glad. And Omer
I
said
was a
that
gay man on his dashboard.
you buy a service, a yearly service. I think he probably bought it for the year on that Garmin, and it just hasn't
Oh,
run
okay.
out yet. Uh,
Yep.
but anytime I go to the most dangerous, what I consider the most dangerous and woolly um, zone that we do, I want to use that thing to see the map layout. Now, hopefully, here in a month or so, we'll get our new tablets, and it'll do that for me.
Right.
Leave that snail trail behind where you've been, and that's what that Garmin does. It leaves that
Yeah.
snail, and I just turned the volume all the way off on that, um,
Yeah, so you
because
don't have
it'll
to
say make
hear
a
it telling
U-turn and turn around and all. I just wanted
you.
to get kind of like maps on your phone, you know.
Right.
So I don't want
See
to
where
look
you're
at my
going.
phone or put it up. This
Well,
attached suction cup to the window, so it's just real handy.
yeah. Well, you say you don't have the internet on your phone or whatever, but it's like if you had Google
No,
Maps,
I'm
you
gonna
can
have to
just
get another phone. I really am
yeah,
because sometimes
you
I'll
just
sit
put
there
in
just in
whatever
the house.
address you're leaving and where you want to go to, and it'll show you all the highways and
Yeah.
which way is going to be the fastest route probably and whatever.
As a kid, you would take your pencil and scribble, scribble, scribble. Make scribbles.
Uh
That's the way Atlanta's was spaghetti. That Doc was talking about. My sister was talking about. It's like when you look at it on something like that, it's like
Oh God.
and you go here and there and what? Even with a Garmin, it's like God, what is this?
And somebody with a wacky
Interstate
eight on the exits. Yeah.
overlapping. God, I don't see how people live that way. I really don't. Of course, you've
Dude, I tell
commuted
you
on.
what, last time I was in Houston, I was just it's insane. They got these overpasses that they just go up and up and up and
Yeah.
up, and then you're on another highway, and there's like three highways underneath you with people doing 70 miles an hour. It's fucking insane.
Um, about 35 years ago, the traffic was bad too in Houston, and I can't even imagine what it would be today.
Oh, dude. Well, when I lived there in the '90s
And they say Dallas is
up
worse
until
than
2000,
Houston.
and Houston was, I mean, it was heavy traffic. It was
Mhm.
tight, especially if you had to work downtown.
Yeah,
But it's
you're in
nothing like when I
when you
went
get in
back
a
10 years
vehicle, you're
later.
in a speeding missile, and you really learn that in heavy traffic.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. You watch a fucking semi just chew the side off of some old lady's car because she's not paying attention. You
Yeah.
learn real quick. You don't want to get in those guys' way.
With GPS, you usually
Mhm.
buy map packs. They don't expire, but you can buy updated map packs. Yeah, later.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I
Funny how
mean,
that works. I
well,
suppose they just probably get updated from Google Earth anyway, right?
yeah, you would probably. I mean, with that, mine might not update. To get new roads and other things like that. And the cool thing is, based on where you are, in an alternate the route. Say there's a detour.
Right. Yeah.
It'll
Yeah.
still get you there. You might have to take the
Mm,
long way home. Ooh, yeah. But
yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad I have that little thing, especially
Gotcha.
when I went up there, because it is, like I say,
Oh yeah,
almost
dude. I'm
like
sure.
single
Yeah.
car roads and in mountainous area. And
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
thank
you have anytime you have like at a diagonal, so, I mean, like in Atlanta, there were five ways.
hmm
Well, this is five ways to stupidity. This is like
Right. Yeah.
I
I
feel
hate
like,
those kind of intersections.
and I'm told that somewhere around there, they had the uh, Native American Indians, the
Yeah.
Trail of Tears go through there.
Oh, oh.
And
I
I'm
don't
like,
know, dude.
wow, man, they probably marched these people up that hill and down that hill and up that hill and down that hill. It wasn't easy. I mean, I can see where a bunch of them died along the way because I mean, the terrain is rough.
Oh, for sure. Man. Yeah.
Arkansas's got some tough rocks. There's a lot of rock climbing, a lot of caves. You know,
Yeah.
I happen to live in a fairly flat plains like area, but within an hour or less than an hour's drive, you can get into some uh, mountains, mountainous
hmm
areas. You know, and that one is just like a roller coaster. You know,
Nice.
I mean, you see a grid and you go, "Good, it's a grid." Yeah, but it's like this,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. You got people coming from all directions.
Damn.
Sometimes this way doesn't have stoplights, but stop signs, but this is. And you know what? Somebody asked me, "Did you see many stoplights?" No, I can
Really?
remember one or two. One.
Were you guys
I mean, there
like
are no
small little
stoplights up
town?
there. It's all stop signs. There aren't hardly any stoplights. I never thought
Yeah.
about that, but there are no stoplights there. It's crazy. You take your life in your hands, you know. It's poor residential area in the woods, or whatever the country. It's crazy the way I wouldn't have. I don't know how they laid that out, but I mean, all the houses that need to be plumbing and electricity and all that. That must have been a job over the years to do that. Even in those poor little ramshack houses and stuff. It's crazy. I wouldn't want to live there. And I went into a section where they're building, a little bit more fancier houses, but I'm not really seeing any posh really. It's probably a poor area, not a big town at all. Been there. They got a larger airport, or at least probably a larger airport uh, than Jonesboro has, maybe, but I wouldn't know. Maybe not. I mean, it's been there a long time, since World War II, at least, because they've got military barracks. They've got a old military World War II museum. Um, now, maybe it's the updates that we're talking about the service. Is that right, Howder? That it'll probably work for me even not updated. It's showing the layout like
Right.
map.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't have the latest map or whatever.
Well, I was afraid what was Omer was saying is I might have to buy a yearly package to keep it going, but that's for updates probably.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
like depending, like from what you're talking about, doesn't sound like the area is growing. So it's,
Mm.
you probably don't need updates
Yeah.
as often as
Yeah.
some areas. 'Cause I know around here, man, we got whole new
The most
streets and
dramatic
neighborhoods and shit
the most
every other month.
dramatic thing I've seen change uh is sort of the Brooklyn area. They've got a lot of businesses that have opened up over the years through there, especially
Oh,
like
yeah, that's cool.
franchise places, Sonic, Taco Bell, whatever, there. They're becoming, and eventually it'll probably be rolled in and be a suburb of Jonesboro for sure.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, it's really growing up there. And like going to win, those fields just, it seemed like overnight from, the last time I was down there was October. Um,
Right.
and next time I was going to take my sister mentioned that more than once when she was here. Well, you wanted to go to that barbecue place because we had talked on the phone, things that I wanted to do when she was there. She was
Right.
dogma about it. She didn't forget any of that. She was like, well, you said you wanted to go down there and eat. And I said, yeah, but the place got sold out. There's no really reason. But I almost wish we had because then she could have saw all the fields with the solar farms in it, all those big windmills. I mean, that just seemed like it sprung up in just a matter of months.
Yeah, and they
Amazing.
probably put that where all the houses got knocked down from the tornado a couple years back, right?
No, that was like in the heart of the city,
Oh,
so
okay.
not the farming fields, but
Oh, I got you.
yeah,
Yeah, I figured
I
maybe
wouldn't
it was
want to be, I
outskirts.
wouldn't want to be live there now. They ruined the skyline, and they had a beautiful skyline with those damn windmills. And if you had a tornado come through there, do you want those big blades flying everywhere?
Yeah,
It, oh,
yeah, I
there's
hadn't thought
your
about that one. Those kind of suck.
look. I've not been down there where I've seen them even rotating a little bit. There's not enough wind unless you're in a tornado. Then they're probably beating the band. But I've never, and we'll see. I'll
Well, they
let you know if
also
I ever
they
see one
don't
of those things turn. But
they
I,
don't let them run when it's too windy out either, right? Because they'll
right,
catch
because they'll
fire.
burn up.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. They'll have to break. Right.
So yeah, they have to stop them when it's too windy.
Without the updates, cool. Updates are more important for cities with new roads. Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Yep.
good. Maybe I won't have to buy a service with it just to use it for what I want. Uh,
Maybe. I mean,
I wouldn't even know where you go to buy something for that. Of course, I could go to a tech
I think
place.
you just Google it. You go online just like anything else. Where do I
Yeah.
buy melt packs for my Garmin? Whatever model or
Mhm.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or like Helder says, he's got a Magellan GPS,
Hmm.
so it plots your path so you can backtrack and stuff. When you're out exploring.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Well, I mean, when I've got my phone and I'm doing this and it's not doing anything,
Yeah, that could be a problem.
it's yeah, and it's dropped calls, you know, uh,
Mm.
and it was nerve wracking to be in the middle of that much mayhem as far as traffic, zooming, 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 zoom, and I just could keep driving. I'd wind up in another state. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Apparently, up there where I went to Augusta, uh, you know, Po- Doc was saying north, you were almost in another state. I'm like,
Wow.
you know, you just can't keep driving. Of course, my sister thought she was navigating me correctly, but she wasn't. You know, it
Apparently
drove
not.
out. I drove almost an hour away from where I needed to be.
Oh
You
shit!
know, yeah, because it was
I didn't know you went that far out of
50 minutes away or 55 minutes away. He said. I said,
there.
well, you could send me instructions, and my phone did better and downloaded all those 10 things that I needed to do to get back to the hotel. But I said, my brain is fried. I need you to come get me so I can just follow you. And then just following him at a high clip pace
Uh-huh.
was hard enough to do, much less do it all on my own. I wimped out. I totally wimped out that day, and I thought, this doesn't look good on me, but I don't care. I said, I drove most of the night to get there. Got there at like, their time, 4:30
Right,
a.m.
and then went
morning,
right
and
to
had to
fucking
get up
work.
at 8 or
Yeah,
whatever, early, and then
that's
work
crazy.
all day. Um, a heavy day, the very first day. It's like, yeah, man, I'm a toadstool. I'm fried. I need somebody to come get me. I need to make it back so I can clean up and rest. He says, have you eaten anything when I got back to the hotel? I said, no, but that's
Damn.
okay. I brought, snacks, things like that with me and other things. I was
Right.
prepared. The only thing I didn't prepare for was I could have took some more meals for Abby, and because I did all that stuff on the day. I I forgot to pack underwear. I was
No shit.
I had what I was wearing, and that was it. So I had to
Well,
go
the
to
good thing
Walmart.
about underwear is they sell it everywhere. So
Yeah, I went to Walmart and they had it on clearance, and I really got a good deal. 12 pair for $10. That's not a bad
yeah,
deal.
there you
You
go.
know, I thought a
I
store.
only gotta change undies once a month.
Well, I wore the same pair for a couple days before I, went and got any.
All right, too much information.
Okay. Well, I
We,
mean,
we don't need to go there. Oh
you
wow, look,
never
look
you
at
never
look
had
at
to
the
wear your
time.
underwear.
I was making dinner. I
Oh,
really
okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll just end with this on that discussion. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
you
Have
Carrie.
mercy. I've been wearing the same underwear since Thursday. Planes, trains, and automobiles. Ew, Carrie says. You've never, don't tell me you've never worn your undergarments more than one day. Come on, in your lifetime. Come on.
Oh, maybe when I was a young kid.
Oh,
I
okay.
I shower and change every day.
You're a
I
married
come
man.
I,
Yeah, I
I
do
come
too,
home. Well, I mean, I come home filthy from work too, dude. So I mean, I gotta put on.
but Carrie says, you people don't care. I go to bed soon. Sweet
What?
dreams. You'll dream of Rex in his long johns. I need long johns because well, anyway. Who needs to sleep? It's overrated. That's what I say, Carrie.
You have pleasant dreams, Carrie. Try not to think about Rex.
Yeah, just try.
He dares you.
I will be mailing out as soon as Monday, tomorrow, Doc's Pig, because I've got Cleary,
Oh, the piggy.
you know, I've got a replacement, which is pretty cool because you can see the honker in there.
Yeah, he's
It's like
kind of neat. He's like the see-through man. You remember that old 3D model they used to have, and he had all the lungs and the heart and everything inside
oh
of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you mean the guy in the body stocking?
No, the actual it was a model. It's what it was like 12 inches tall or whatever, and
Oh,
it
okay.
had the two halves of the human body laid in the spine and all the everything, and then you put
Yeah,
the top half on. You could
yeah.
paint in like all the blood vessels and stuff. There was, it
Mhm.
was crazy.
You
Pretty
you
neat.
remember the guy I'm talking about that talked to kids about their bodies on
Yeah,
Saturday
yeah, yeah.
morning,
You could
you know,
wear the bodysuit
the
and do
lungs
yeah.
here and all that, the esophagus leading up to here, you know.
Yeah, that dude
Pretty
was.
wild.
He seemed fairly weird to me, man.
Well, I mean, it did to me too, but it was a thing at a time, right?
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, he was, pretty popular there for a minute, I think, for the kid
Yeah,
show or whatever,
he was on there for a year or two,
a
whatever,
couple years,
doing those little. Well, I mean, it was probably government funded money, right? I'm glad to see
Yeah,
that
was it a
we're.
PBS show, public
I'm glad that we're
broadcasting?
not going to fund PBS anymore. Uh, I mean, I can go
Yeah,
to
well,
Dollar Tree, and I did recently, and got some of their merch. You know,
really?
They got merch out there. They got a lot of stuff that, I mean, this right here, they can fund themselves. Sesame Street, and I'm a first generation Sesame Street watcher. I watched them when they first came out in um
Oh, yeah, well, Sesame Street
19,
makes them tons of money.
1969.
For sure.
Um, Oscar was originally, he's green here,
Yes, Carrie, I
but
do.
his very first year, he was orange, deep dark orange.
Yeah, which is weird, but
Well, I always liked the orange, and when he switched to
did
green,
he?
I'm like, why did they switch him to green? I like the orange. You know,
I don't know. I think maybe green made him look angrier. Or
I
maybe it
got
was
their
because,
double album, and in it, he's depicted as orange.
right.
He was originally orange. I've shown pictures on here that he
Well,
was
I
orange,
get it.
but
I
only for the
understand.
very first year. He was like this orange here, deep dark orange.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, which was
Maybe he looked too similar to Animal or something. I don't
thing
know.
orange. Yeah,
But
I would like to research. Maybe I'll
Animal
do a
came
video
later.
on that. Why they changed the color from orange to green? Because he was orange the
Uh,
very first year in 1969, and then after
I,
that, he went to the
well, I mean, weren't they doing like what do they call that? Market testing or whatever, where they
Mhm.
give you little brochures and what would you prefer, what color do you like better? Maybe they were,
They might.
doing that kind of shit. I don't know. Market research, right?
Yeah, Kerry, he got his action Bible. Gosh,
Oh, it's been a couple of months now,
a
Carrie. I
couple of
know I told
months,
you about it.
a long time.
It's been a
He's
while,
had it
yeah.
for a long time.
Well, last time you sent me something,
In
it's
fact, I
been a
was
while.
going to suggest since earlier this year at least, um, that maybe we do a Bible study. We could use the Action Bible if you want to.
That would
We could,
actually be pretty cool because I know
yeah,
Carrie's got one. Yeah, I know
and we could
plenty of
do it
people
behind the
have it.
scenes. We don't have to do it, stream, but we could get together behind the scenes and have
Yeah,
a little get together. You know,
just do it on an old link or something. Yeah,
yeah, exactly,
yeah, that's no big deal.
behind the scenes.
Or we could
Yeah,
start one of those little groups that everybody's talking about. I keep getting invited to join all these groups. It's like
like a cult.
I don't know. It's like this comics, collectibles, and sales, and blah blah blah. Lots of that shit.
Where
But
are
I
you
just
getting
I'm not
solicited
I'm
from?
not a big group
Facebook,
guy.
or where are you getting solicited that
Like on
information?
all the social medias, you get different shit like that. On Twitter, you get invited to join groups and stuff.
Like DM
Facebook,
groups? Yeah.
yeah,
I, I
apparently.
I'm I kid you not, I'm probably in like 7 or 8 DMs. I don't even know, groups, but I never chime in. I never even read what people are saying,
Yeah,
but I'm part of them. I've been invited, but
well, I
I
didn't know,
rarely go in.
especially on Facebook, dude. It's like I don't know how to like undo shit on there. They make it very difficult for you to undo
Yeah,
things on Facebook. So
yeah.
I joined a few of these things at first, thinking, "Oh, it's a little collectible thing." I didn't know they were going to be sending me, 8 emails a day with pictures of, little fucking trinkets and shit. This
No,
one's up
I
for
wouldn't
bid
like
right
that.
now. I,
I wouldn't like
I
that.
mean, it's cool, but at the same time, it's a good way to, burn through a bunch of money too.
Discord. Well, we don't go on Discord, but yeah, you could do it through Discord. You know, there's
I never
different
tried
avenues.
Discord. Is that part of StreamYard, or is that a different
No,
service altogether? I don't. I've never
I mean
done.
on this, Christy from Flip City, and go check out her campaign on Find My Comic right now, issue number
Uh,
25 of Flip City magazine. She on her streaming source can have 12 panelists. Although I don't know why you would want to have 12 panelists. In
That's a
Discord,
lot.
you can have 10, and you can have 10 in StreamYard if you pay for the service. You know,
Yeah, but even 10 gets to be. I mean, if you got 10 people in there, it can be much, especially if they're not, good at their timing.
the only exactly, and it usually doesn't run like a well-oiled machine when you get that many on.
No, you gotta have like, kind of know each other a little bit.
Unless you got like cards that you can hold up, like I want to speak,
Cue
you
cards.
know, yeah, where you're like, okay, it's your time. All right, yours, because
Give me
ultimately
one.
you're gonna have
Give me
three people
one
going,
second. I'll be
yeah,
right back.
okay, yeah, you get that many people on panel, so what's the advantage, of having that capacity? If if you did like I think on Billy Tucci's channel, they did a special thing with John Romita Sr. A tribute along with Junior was on there and had Roy Thomas and other, big creators that had worked with his dad. And he was a lovely man. He was a lovely man. Go check out Glenn Fleming's uh, magazine book. It's on Amazon, where I wrote a little uh, about my encounter of meeting him in Virginia, uh, his wife and Junior's mother. Lovely people, very accessible, you know, just down to earth, you know, love the fans. And just, I was glad to show him some of the early work that he hadn't seen since he did it in the early 50s at the start of his career when he and his wife were still dating. They weren't even married then. He
Wow.
was getting a thrill out of looking at his old Captain America stuff out of those books. And those were expensive books to get signed. You get
Oh, I
it.
imagine.
I mean, at that time, I got them for like $50 a piece. Um,
But
but now they're well over 1,000 in that condition. You know,
wow.
um,
Oh
it
shit.
was only a matter of time, and I knew those things were going to go up. Uh, I specifically went to Chicago to get some Golden Age books, but I did my
Yeah.
research. I looked in the Overstreet price guide of the ones that I
Ah, there you
and
go.
they weren't your typical titles. They were old
That was
They
the
were old Atlas things from the early 50s.
that was the Bible back in the day. All right, Overstreet was before any of the other.
Yeah, and in a way, it is a good baseline to jump off from. I think it has become, and I really don't enjoy the new ones. We got in, and I think Elsie's mailing yours to you. I bought 4 of them, 2 for me and 1 for you and 1 for Elsie.
Right.
And he's supposed to be mailing yours to you, and it's got the Dan Lawless cover,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ted Diller cover on it.
Nice.
The advantage is getting the audience that follow all the individual people on the panel cross pollination. Yeah, yeah. Also, the sheet show that is a large panel. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to big panels. We've had big panels on here before. And
No,
it's
but
easier, I think, with draw streams like Omer's been doing because
mhm.
a lot of people are not as talkative, or they talk about this. They get on one subject, like especially if they're doing everything in unison, like they drew Rip Claw one.
Right. Yeah, it's
Same
everybody's drawing
draw
recall
the
that.
same character. We should get on and draw and they did Fembat one time. Did you watch? You probably didn't watch it. Maybe you watched it on rerun. Well, no, you were home. Apex was on Katie's last night
Yeah,
again.
Apex is on Katie did quite a bit.
Yeah, I need to get on there. Dan Lawless has recommended to her that she had me on. She said, yes, we'll have a, but she's not reached out to me more than just in the chat. And I've
Yeah.
not bugged her. When I get some additional, when I get the campaign and get some additional artwork put up there, and
Uh,
I'll be pushing it hard towards the end.
I mean,
So
she's aware of
I'm
me.
just biding my time.
I'm subscribed to her channel and whatever. You know, she like acknowledges me in the chat, but I haven't been invited on or anything yet. I'm not worried about it. You know.
Well, we were invited on with to come on Andy and Dennis, but I need to hit him up and us do that. I think it'd be cool to go on there and
Oh
just
shit!
shoot
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
shit about comics.
Yeah. I'd
With
love to
them,
go on with Andy and Dennis, man. Those guys,
they keep busy. Well, they extended the olive
good
branch,
boys.
more than once, and I like to hold people to the word.
Hell yeah.
I need to save this check here. I think most of this check and wait for my next check and combine them, to really have something to either pay artists or something. But now I'm really getting gray haired over Charlie London's book because I really want to back that.
Yeah.
I don't mean just back it, but back it where I get everything.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Don't pull on.
Don't fool
Well, you
around
did that
getting boxed.
with the first one, didn't you?
I did, and I'm kind of curious how she will send this one. Will she send it the same way? Because the box can get damaged easily. I don't know why she sent it the way she did. I know it's because of cost, but she's earned like a little over 30,000 on this campaign. She earned over 50, about 56 on the first one, I think. Those boxes, international boxes, could have been sent out better, no doubt. They had
Oh,
really no
yeah.
they had no protection whatsoever. Mine arrived in good shape. There was a dent or something on one side slight, but it was,
Right.
if you're paying that much money, and you're probably even
Yeah.
paying more on this because the rates have went up or whatever. Um, you want it to
Yeah.
arrive in pristine mint condition, not just barely, and that
Yeah.
includes the custom box that it
You
comes
want
in.
it to look nice.
I want it to look nice, right?
Fuck
If
yeah.
you're paying that much money.
Oh hell yeah.
That-
That's what I mean.
Hopefully they'll impress. I'm
Feel the
kind of
same way.
curious, I can't justify going all in on that many campaigns, but that's one that I could live
Yeah.
without it, sure, but I really like Chaplin, and I like that it's officially, it's just through the estate, and then it's just something I want to add to my collection, and I'm sure she's done an awesome job on all of it. You got a Graham Nolan cover.
Graham Nolan come. What?
Mm-hmm. I
Wait,
think
I
there
missed
might be
that.
a black and white and color version of his.
Oh really? Nice.
Let's see, I hit the wrong button.
Oh, did I show you what I got the other day, dude? Very good read, by the way, all of you doubters out there.
What is it?
Blam.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Dark
that.
Horse.
That is an awesome cover.
Dale Keown cover, buddy. And there's a
Is
black
that
and white
like
and gray tone on the inside of the same cover. It's fucking awesome.
what's the number of that?
It's
What's the number?
2.9. You gotta.
See, I don't like that. I don't like
I know.
2.9.
I'm not big on that either, but it's a really good story, and it
It's a really
expands
good
on.
cover.
Yeah, it expands on the universe pretty well. There's a lot of action. I mean, there's imminent death is approaching. Like there's some shit going on in that little I don't know 22 pager or whatever it was. It's just a warm up. for the third Cyberfrog. So it's gonna be cool, man. I'm fired up again for Cyberfrog 3. Can't wait.
I wonder what's going to happen with Charlie's London. I'm sure she'll be crowdfunding another book. You know, I think there's at least supposed to be like 3 books, right?
Oh.
Second part of the story includes the kid, the gold rush, the circus, city lights, modern times, and of course the great dictator. And we wanted to capture that in this campaign with all incredible covers. So that's all. I mean, that's the heart.
That's what I'm saying. Is there anything really left to
Well, I think the Gold Rush, City Lights, and he did movies up until the '60s. I mean, you know, it's capturing his whole life. There'll be at least one more book. I think the Gold Rush, City Lights, and Modern Times. I think those are the 3. Those are on the top 100 movie list of all time. Of all time.
All time, I think.
Here's the Graham Nolan cover in black and white.
Yeah.
Cool cover by him. They have a black and white and grayscale, and they have a color version of it. Peter Gilmore cover.
Dude, yeah, Peter Gilmore's getting closer to being monetized. Subscribe to Peter if you haven't yet. He's got his own YouTube channel he's trying to build up. Pete's a great guy. Artist for Stuntman Comics and many other projects in CG. And an all-around cool dude.
I guess Mickey Arts did this one. I'm unfamiliar with Mickey Arts. He did like a Modern Times cover. And then Peter Gilmore did the circus here, which is an awesome cover.
I think Vinny did a cover on that one too. Charter Mountain.
Pretty sure you all love the silent variant so much, including the cover. So we brought it back colored for a second printing. So now it's going to be in color. It's available on its own or alongside other tiers on the campaign. I guess that may be included in the big bundle. I don't know. Let's see if it's included. What'd she call it? Silent variant.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
Maybe it didn't have any word balloons in it. I'm not sure. I don't know if I got the silent variant on the first one.
Well, I got the black and white one of this book right there that's up on the screen. It is like a miniature little ash can size book.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd want to get the second printing of that too. Just simply it's in color, you know.
That's cool.
There was the box I got. I know, unless she's replaced the image, she used the image of the first one that came out.
Right. Well, she probably haven't made it.
Basically, this box was wrapped in paper with the postage on it and sent to me. So there was no padding around the box. The box was. And you go to all these lengths making a nice box. Why don't you put some padding around it, protect it? You know.
No, you got to put the box in box.
I mean, I mean, on the big bundle, it's like $235.
Yeah, I didn't go all in on the first one either. I think I bought 2, maybe 3 of the covers.
And again, the gray version of this, I'll have to buy that separate as an add-on because the painted gray skin version of that image, you'll get one of them in the big box, but the silver one, but you won't get the pewter. To me, a big bundle should include everything on the campaign.
Yeah.
6 a.m. sticker, you get that at $15K.
I feel the same, but it doesn't seem to work that way anymore.
Yeah, print. You get the Peter Gilmore print. No, you don't. Not yet. Because it
Okay.
hasn't reached 40K. But you got the
Good.
Mickey Arts Modern Times. But Peter
You lied to me,
Gilmore,
Rick.
huh? What?
So you lied to me. I don't give him a Peter Gilmore.
I was just mistaken. I spoke out of
I'm
turn.
just fucking with
Spoke out of turn. Chaplin was, I mean, he got the first $100,000 deal in movies.
Yeah. I mean, well, when did you start? Like the 20s? Before that, right? Like even
Oh
before the
yeah,
20s?
in
1920s?
like yeah, 1913, 1912.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was back as, the
He
birth
was
of
back in
Hollywood.
the Keystone Cop days from the very
Yeah. I
beginning.
mean, the birth of Hollywood, really. I mean,
Yeah, he and Mary Pickford
Mm-hmm.
and Douglas Fairbanks Sr., who was a good
Okay.
friend of his, and one other person formed United Artists.
Ah, okay. I didn't know this.
Yeah, hence United Artists. He deserved a lifetime achievement, which he got in the early 70s from the Academy Award. In
Oh,
fact,
that's cool.
I think at the time it was the longest and still one of the longest standing ovations. Went for about 10 minutes. They wouldn't do
Damn.
that today. Of them
Mm.
clapping for him after they showed
They would.
clip.
They wouldn't let you. They would
They all
like
knew they owed that
set the
man
mics and go to
everything.
commercial and shit.
That's my take on it. They owed
Yeah.
him everything. Hollywood cannot pay back what Charlie Chaplin did for film. Let's watch the trailer here real quick. It's short.
Alrighty.
Only on Choppy S Theater. It's a silent movie. It comes staggering in film.
But the man who gives the London Bobbies a battle with the crowds is, yes, Charlie Chaplin.
What was I echoing?
Just slightly over it.
This country is at war
Well, it's
with
5:35
Germany.
anyway, and it's Sunday. So I will say good night to Charlie.
No.
Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
It's kind of a downer trailer, Shadowhawk, because it goes into the wartime, but it covers World War II in London.
Mm-hmm. Which is fucking scary. I mean, those guys were right there.
The London Blitz and all that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, all they had was the English Channel between them and the fucking enemy.
Yeah.
Really not a lot.
Not a lot. No. I mean, some of the best war films are about the London Blitz and the pilots and what they did to curtail the Luftwaffe.
Just crazy though, dude. I mean, like, we got guys, some of the guys in Pink Floyd, they grew up little kids that had to go down in the bunkers and stuff.
Really? I didn't know that. Pink
Oh,
Floyd
yeah.
group. Yeah. They were of that generation that they had to go down in the bunkers, or they evacuated a lot of them to the country areas.
Yeah, or they had older brothers and sisters that went through it and they remembered it.
Mhm.
I mean that shit. I mean that affected England bad for a while, man. You
Yeah,
can imagine.
Well, shell shock.
Well, you hear one of them fucking sirens go off out of nowhere, dude. The old air raid sirens. Imagine what goes through those people's heads, you know.
Mhm.
Fucking, I was just losing my shit. Like,
Yeah,
I need
it's like
underground right away.
it's like every Thursday they test the tornado horns, at noon
Mm-hmm.
every Thursday.
Oh,
And
they do it
when
here on Saturday. It's so low.
I told you I was watching that Doctor Who where it was set in World War II, and they had air raid things in the
Right.
episode. Well, as that was going on Doctor Who, there were really tornado horns here, which is right across the street down from me. So it's quite close. And it was kind of surreal to hear it on TV and to actually hear it outside in real life as we had tornadoes going through this area. I
Right.
probably shouldn't have been sitting there watching TV, but I probably should worry more about it. But I didn't think it was that bad. The weather could have blinked out my electricity, but it didn't. Thankfully, that time it has before. We've had some bad tornadoes come through our area. Growing up, I thought I lived through 2 very devastating tornadoes. One in, I think, 1967 or 68. I'm not sure on that one. And 1973. And I just growing up, I thought, well, that's the area we live in. We're going to live in. But even where I'm at is not what I would call Tornado Alley.
Right.
Tornadoes have a certain, even our weather, like if it gets stormy, rainy, it'll go through like Martree up north to Paragould of Jonesboro. It rarely comes straight into Jonesboro, but sometimes it does. It's that close,
Huh.
But I wouldn't say we're in Tornado Alley, but we're pretty close to
Yeah.
where.
Yeah, we're not in prime territory, but we get quite a few of them up here that are close.
Well,
it seems like we're in a pocket that doesn't get it very often.
Well, we'll see where we are in Northeast Arkansas. It usually comes up through Little Rock in the middle of the state, our capital. Why? Because the Gulf is down there and Louisiana is underneath us.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's how I used to go into Texas.
Yeah, when the hurricanes are happening down there, it's going to come on land and rains and stir things up, and it just seems like it goes southwest a lot.
Keep on trucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking I-10
Keep
West.
on trucking.
Well,
a lot of people,
dude. Arkansas and Louisiana, dude, it's just nothing.
Before I was 10 years old, my father bought us an underground storm shelter, which was basically a concrete bunker to get into during storms. And we did get in there several times. We had a little wooden bench in there, and that was about it. We're in a concrete bunker under the ground.
Well, my grandparents that lived in Gary, they had the old coal burning furnace, and they had the coal room where they had, like a window that opened up to the outside, and the truck would just come up and fill up this room with coal, and then you shovel it into your furnace.
A coal chute. Had a coal chute. Yeah.
So once they got, upgraded to modern heating and shit, they turned that room into like a little storm shelter thing. Well, then it had 2 entrances too, because you had the little metal coal chute gate. And ain't nothing getting through that fucking thing. And then there was an entrance on the inside down in the basement.
Probably made of steel, right?
The coal chute door, it was like fucking iron, I think. Too.
Yeah, but at least you had an alternate escape route if you had to get out of there.
Right, if you had to bail, you had, it was at least the size of like a window, and you could get out of it, right?
Well, I've told you behind my garage, which that was a tack-on room later, because the outside brick is on one side, so it was definitely added later. It's got an underground room, 10 by 10 by 8 foot high.
Really?
pretty big room, 10 by 10. It's got a sub pump underneath the stairs too
That's crazy.
to drain all the water out.
Well, the house I'm in, dude, used to have the coal chute and all that too. I actually bricked it in after we moved in because they just had cheap ass plywood over where the door used to be. But that fucking room has got like a 3-inch thick door on it, dude, with these crazy locks and shit on the outside of the fucking door. I don't know what they used to lock up in there at some point. But my buddy's helping me when I moved in, and he's like, Jesus Christ, you got a murder dungeon down here.
Yeah, don't mind the skeletons. Just step over them.
I'm like, oh, yeah, pay no attention to that.
You didn't see it.
You son. Tuck that arm in that door.
Knock them in the head and throw them down the dungeon.
It was just so funny though, because he just stopped and looked at it. And he looked at the door and the locks and shit, and he's like, "God damn, you got a murder dungeon."
Pale Rider in the house. Hey, Pale.
So, Pale,
Carpet's down in the studio, also ready for Shadow to passport in it.
what's that?
I think I read that right. Passport in it.
I can't hear. Another game over here. I'll turn this down before we get struck. Okay.
What was playing?
Uh,
And if you say the radio, I'm going to smack you.
Loving you. Whatever that was. I forget who that was.
Look, brother, you better watch out. I grew up during Three Stooges, which was always physical humor, slapping, knocking each other in the head, grabbing each other's nose, poking people's eyes out.
No. Anyway. Would never do something like that. No. Wonderful old movies. Classic.
That's why they call it slapstick. They hit each other all the time.
Slap the shit out of each other.
Pass out. Okay, Carpet's down in the studio, almost ready for Shadow to pass out in it. That's what he meant to say.
Oh, that's what he's saying.
It's good to see you, Pale Rider. You keeping those carpet
Passporting
clean?
I like passporting in it better. I don't know why.
Are you getting much painting in? Doesn't PayPal? Doesn't
I'm not. Got a
Pale
lot
Rider
of
paint? Very huge.
I believe yes.
Bigly.
From what I've seen, he's done some pretty good sized pieces. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You painted over that Bale War piece yet? You ain't never gonna get that book. I told you I got my money back for my book. I included that in my, what he owed. Now I lost more than that, but yeah. I knew I wasn't going to get the book.
I believe that. Sorry,
I didn't back that one heavily. Sorry. Ain't never gonna see. I'm wondering if you probably got the same update a few weeks ago about what was it, Demon something that we backed? Let me check here. I didn't read it because I know it's years in the making.
Who was it? Do you know who?
The guy that exposed himself last time we were on, you, me, and Kate from Orlando. Used to be part of Brain Cage.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Wasn't aware of that. Yeah, Gun Demon, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, Gun Demon. Yeah, Gun Demon.
Okay, I remember now. You shook the cobwebs loose a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. That's been a while.
Yeah, it's been over 2 years at least.
I was just gonna say it's been a little while.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are lucky. I support him, and half the time I don't. I end up getting most of my stuff. I really don't think I've missed hardly anything. But I mean, I don't check every fucking week or anything. So when I remember, I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, he did send an update not too long ago, as he should.
All right, Omar, I'm gonna pop out and come back in, even though it's only for 10 more minutes. Be right back.
Yay! He didn't bog out this time. Thank you, Homer. All the art stuff's packed away until the studio's done. Okay. Well, I just started. Oh, it's gessoed over. Ah, Rex needs an update. Yeah, I need to put it on an update. All right, I quit licking it. Oh man, look, I know you want my attention. She's licking my piece here, so it's got some Abby DNA right here, very slightly. Go on, lay down. Just a minute, I'll take you out. We're going to do 2 hours today. Talking to my dog. Quit licking my artwork. I know it's sweet. I need to go in here and delete a bunch of stuff off my notices on my Gmail, just so I can find what I want to look at, which was Gun Demon. That was a little while back, and he sent an update for that. And I backed it at its highest tier on that one. I should get all 3 covers and backed it a second time for the trading card set because I wanted to support them, at the time. Foolish me. I haven't gotten Rocket Magazine #2 either, and I backed that at its fullest tier. But that's another project that's never going to see the light of day.
Oh, there I be.
Rocket Magazine 2.
Fucking
never
audio snob on YouTube. I got you numbered, mister.
I don't back that many at the highest tier. I don't back that many projects anyway, I back maybe about 70 at this point, something like that, 60 something. But
and Crooked Painter says that Baywar has apparently been gessoed over already.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah, I saw
he's
that.
gone. See,
I mean, you're down to get updates about Gun Demon, right?
Huh?
You're down to get updates on Gun Demon, right? I mean, did you get something in the past few weeks?
I'm sure, yeah, I must have got something. Dude, I get so much bullshit in my inbox.
I do too. And I had it cleaned out, but I've got about 100 notices here that
I keep trying to catch up with it, and it's like every day it just fills up again. Every time I restart my phone, it's just I get hit after hit after hit. My phone's just going do 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 do. All these fucking messages hitting me. Like every time I restart the fucking thing, like God bless it. I don't want to do a VPN because a lot of times you can't order Indiegogo and shit like that if you got a VPN.
Oh, wow. I didn't check out this offer. That was for an Adler from Key Comics. He gave me 50% off.
Really?
Because you showed interest in this item. Yeah. Offer was for like $100, but I was buying those for like about $80 used to. I mean, but Unexpected 105 though. That's when it went from Tales to Unexpected to Unexpected. I think I have that book. I don't know if I have that one or not. I'm gonna have to check. Um,
Hmm.
but it's like a number one, you know, in a way,
Oh,
because it's the
right.
number
Because it's
one
the
the
first
first time when they
under
with
that
the
new
title
title.
change.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't look at it that way, but yeah, it's yeah, he made me a good offer on that. I'm sorry I didn't see that. Well, it was
I
a
don't remember
while back.
exactly when it changed, but I remember noticing it as a kid because it used to be the Tales of the Unexpected, and then all
Yeah,
of a
that
sudden it
type
was
of stuff I really didn't pay
Unexpected.
that much attention to tell you the truth.
I I noticed it when I was a kid, but I mean, it didn't bother me. I just like,
Mhm.
okay, they just made the name a little shorter. The stories are still, ghost stories and what have you, so I didn't care. That's the stuff I like anyway.
I get stuff from like Titanic Creations tariff update. So apparently the tariffs are,
Ooh,
affecting
let me
those
look at
figures
that.
that they
I
make.
want to show everybody.
If it's made in China, yeah, you're going to be the tariff.
Here, Carrie. I don't know if I
The
showed you
tariff
this.
talk is going to affect you.
Carrie's probably in bed already. I had to post a picture.
Are
But
you trying to show something?
yeah, here. It's
Yeah.
the little shark. I thought it was going to be
Jaws.
a full size bottle. It's like a
Jaws
hand
little
size.
decanter. Would you call it a decanter?
Mm-hmm. The decanter,
Okay.
I guess. 50th anniversary.
And since it didn't
Jaws.
have anything in it, it doesn't tell you how much ounce, how much it is like quart a pint, or does it?
No, as a matter of fact,
Yeah. I mean, if you poured liquid in
it
it,
does not.
yeah,
I think it's probably like a pint. Looks like.
well, that's kind of
Uh,
unusual that they didn't put it on there, really.
But like in the picture on the website, it looked like it was a full size bottle sitting there on the shelf. But it's unless you got something up next to it, it's hard to compare. But it it looked like it was supposed to be bigger. But it's real. Um, Everybody was saying they thought it was going to be AI and it was never going to show up. But Mama showed up. I'm still waiting on my Godzilla.
Welcome to
But
June, by the
Jaws
way.
is real.
Today is the beginning of June.
Yeah, I didn't even realize. Mama was telling me on the way home from the store. I'm like, shit, we're almost halfway through the year already. It's May. She's like, today's June 1st. I'm like,
Isn't
what?
that crazy?
Okay.
That's crazy, isn't it?
But
Now you'll just have to wait about a month to go to the doctor.
I got like 19 days.
Yeah, it's the final countdown. Yeah, I'll
We'll find
go
out what all they want
tomorrow.
to saw off of me.
I got to remember that. I'm making myself a note right now. I got to go to the doctor early tomorrow, like 8 o'clock
Oh,
on the
well, you got
2nd.
to check up or whatever
Yeah.
before you go back to work.
It's my yearly checkup.
Oh,
I have to do it to get my medicines renewed for another year.
oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Once they got you hooked, they got you hooked.
Yeah, I'm glad we kind of took a look at that. It's June. Yeah, tomorrow I got to go to the doctor about 8:30, 8 o'clock, something like that
No shit. Yeah.
in the morning. Well, better to do it early because I don't know about later in the evening.
Yeah. I didn't have no choice. I just asked for the soonest appointment I could get. They're like, we can get you in at 9:30 on the 20th. And I was like, of May? It's past that already. She's like, no, June. I was like, oh, okay. That's the best we can do. That's the best we can do. Get me in there. It's just, 2.5 more weeks of dealing with the same shit I've been dealing with. So, I mean, it should be all right.
RJ Williams, his launch, our friend RJ, that we haven't seen in the chat in a little bit. He
Yeah, where
hasn't
is
chimed in
RJ?
anyway. His launch was postponed. He says, well, folks, sometimes people get sick and cannot do a live stream. Therefore, we are postponing the launch of Call Sign Orion. On the bright side, we will now have more of the creative team present. I am looking forward to interacting with the backers who joined the chat at Michael Bancroft's YouTube channel. What does this mean for you? Well, it means that if you have not yet claimed your free pop socket, it's not too late. Just reply to this email or DM me and I'll send it your way. I thought I did, but I've not received it.
That's one of them little things you stick on your phone, right? A little handle deal. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, basically, you can get a free pop socket from him, and it looks like this. Very nice.
Let's check it out.
RJ Williams.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That looks pretty cool.
I could use a pop socket. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I replied, but I never got mine. So I need to probably
Nice
go on that
drawing,
link and re-update it.
But go ahead and sign me up while you're at it.
Send you what, the link?
I said you go ahead and sign me up. Send me the link.
Okay. It's his Substack. He has a Substack.
Oh shit! I haven't done one of those yet.
Pretty neat.
I know lots of
like
people
with
start
Mike Barron's got one, and then you could see his Kickstarter, his Indiegogo, and it's from my comic there, and it tallied everything and sent you to all his different links. Pretty neat. I definitely need something like that. Set something up like that. The link for that, and I hope that link works.
Yeah, I gotta get
see if it works.
Start having the regular posting of my channel link and everything on the description of the show. PO box, all that good stuff. Gotta get all that in line.
I go and look on YouTube and it's like stutter cam. Maybe that's why people, because I look like Max Headroom all the time with a cap. Yeah. We'll get that fixed this year, folks. And then maybe my subscription will go way down after that. Come back with choppy ass cam. No, I don't think so. I only have one person complain about it. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Shadowhawk's got some grilling or something to do, I'm sure. I had a steak. I tried one of those steaks that I got from Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
And I put it in the oven.
Yeah.
It must have been Texas Longhorn because it was tough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I won't buy another one.
Mm.
I mean, it was edible. It was steak. First time I've had steak.
Was it round or
no? It looked like a New York strip. Looked like a New York strip.
Really? And it's tough like that? Mm.
Quit licking my piece. I know you want my attention and you want that out of your way so you can come over here and bug me personally. But please give me some personal space. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Keep collecting. We'll see you tomorrow on the 4 o'clock shadow. Might do a stream. I might just clean tonight. Got to get some stuff done. Bow for now.